Let's look at Mark Meckler is with us. He's the national coordinator of the Tea Party Patriots. He joins us from Houston. And joining me here in New York, Dennis Neal of Fox Business, Lindsay Piegza of FTN Financial, and the always attractive and red colored tonight, Fox News contributor Angela McGowan. Okay, listen, Angela.
Yes.
One thing that gets me about the Tea Party here is it's like they're a brand now. They're like geniuses. We can't have a third party work in the United States because of the way electoral votes, right?
And it's not a third party.
Correct, but it's a brand.
It is a
and
brand.
it sort of stood for something, but what does it stand for now?
It still stands for taxed enough already, and they're a force to be reckoned with, and they're going to make a big hoopla in 2012. These folks are not going anywhere, and they're doing what our forefathers meant. We have the right to state our grievances.
I like it. Mr. Meckler, I said in my intro that we were sort of slightly organized. You guys are pretty organized now, aren't you?
I mean, we're definitely getting there, but all we are really millions of Americans who believe in fiscal responsibility. We believe in the Constitution. We believe it limits the government. And we believe in the power of capitalism and the free market. And we expect our government to follow those principles.
Give me an amen for that, gentlemen, too, by the way. All right. But now, I was intrigued. So this last week, we had the Commission on the Fiscal Crisis come out. And the Republicans took the report and removed the words Wall Street and interconnected and, oh, my Lord, shadow banking. Now, it doesn't sound like they got the message on the let's play fair and, you don't have to protect us from stuff that we're not big enough to handle, right?
Oh, I definitely don't think they got the message. What you're seeing out of the Republicans is politics as usual. We're seeing it out of the Democrats. It's going to take time. We got more house cleaning to do in 2012.
All right. So Dennis, I'm optimistic. You're always optimistic. My God, you're optimistic when when it's raining.
There are key reasons to be incredibly optimistic, far more optimistic than most people we're hearing talk about every day. For one thing, see, a big new change comes, and what happens is we change our expectations and behavior in advance of the change. Having elected and knowing there's going to be a Republican majority in the House changes instantly how we start to feel. And also, we're seeing fewer layoffs throughout the economy.
Yes.
Even though those jobs numbers are still too high and the continuing claims are too high, the layoffs are way down. And once we no longer fear that we're going to lose our own job, we start to spend more. All kinds of reasons to be upbeat. Now, regarding the Tea Party, I'm sorry, I've been warned to stay away from this topic with you, Toby.
Stay away from the topic.
But why does the Tea Party get all the credit here? Let's remember that there are two incumbent parties in Washington, the Republicans and the Democrats. No Tea Party guys were there at that table, and they came together and they did this and they made it happen.
Thank you, Tea Party. November 2nd
Thank you, Tea Party, for making it happen.
Did you see the November 2nd elections? And Rhino Republicans and the establishment in Washington, D.C., they are clearly listening. You saw that the stimulus bill did not pass.
Did you see the stimulus bill? That was the first stimulus bill or just spending bill I've ever seen pulled back
Happy to see it. And that illustrates my point about changing your behavior in advance of the real thing. Because the Tea Party was there.
Mr. Meckler, that illustrates Dennis's ignorance of the Tea Party, right? I'm just putting words in your mouth.
Well, the thing is that Toby, the parties would have done exactly the same thing they always do if it weren't for the Tea Party. If they didn't have the Tea Party with the big stick watching over them, they would have done the exact same thing they've always done.
But the Tea Party opposed the tax settlement, right? The Tea Party didn't like it.
But Lindsay, set him straight, would you?
The question is now, is that enough to roll the recovery into 2011? I really don't know if it is. I agree with your previous guest that the consumer on the margin may see an increase in euphoria, this pessimism, fatigue, and move back
Stocks
into
are
the market.
up.
So we see a 2% maybe consumer rise. But is that enough to see 3.5%, 4% GDP? No.
Lindsay,
when you look at income and household debt, bringing that back into a palatable ratio looks to be another 5 to 7 years.
But 2.5% GDP growth, let's call it 2.5 to 3, which is what our forecast is. Part of that is it's from real business. It's from real economy. It's not from houses that we didn't need. It's not from mortgage things we should have never done. We're rebuilding the economy with real stuff, and that to me is a foundation we can grow from.
But it's a start. It's a start, you guys. But it's going to take President Obama working with the Republican House and with the Democrat Senate to make things happen, to pass legislation that will actually create a more prosperous.
All right, I'm going to give Mark the last word. I believe the Tea Party is a brand. It's a promise kept. That's what a brand is. Tell me what you think the brand is in about 30 seconds or less.
I think what the brand is, it goes all the way back to the Founding Fathers. The brand is about the American people rising up, taking control of their nation, bringing it back to the citizens where it has always belonged. That's the brand, and we're going to stick with it.
Can you give me an amen? And I don't want to hear from you, Neil. All right, look it on deck. Thank you guys for all being with us, Mark.
How many seats does the Tea Party hold?
Exactly.
In government, how many seats?
It's a season for giving.